Now with me is George Lee, co-founder of Piing, which is also a cab-hailing app which describes itself as an ethical alternative to Uber. Thanks for coming in. What do you think of this decision?
Well, it's a matter of time before it happened, to be honest. There's only so much that a company can act unethically before they get found out.
In what way are you behaving in a different way?
We're fully transparent and fully accountable. So, you know, people are human. If they make mistakes, i.e. if a driver makes a mistake or a rider, we'll look into it and we won't try and hide details of that from, you know, those that need to know.
How do you do background checks, for example, on people who've come from other countries where, you know, criminal records are not necessarily transparent?
Well, TfL carry out the DBS check themselves whenever they take on a new driver. We will secondary check those applications to make sure they're valid.
But how do you actually do that? I mean, how do you get criminal records from countries where that is just not available to?
It's very, very difficult.
You can't, can you?
No, it's very difficult. But we'll be taking on 10,000 professional drivers, people that are registered here, and that we can get background checks on.
But that's only whilst they have been working in the UK. Absolutely. I mean, I'm talking as a woman, if I go home late at night, how safe is it really for me to get into a car with any driver? Well,
security is paramount, and that's why we're accountable. If something was to happen, we're not going to hide behind the veil of tech.
But that's too late, isn't it, if it's already happened?
It can happen in a black cab, it can happen on the tube, it can happen on a bus. These things do happen, it's life. But if it does happen, you need to deal with it properly via the appropriate methods.
When you say that you are more ethical, does that cost you more? I mean, is that part of the whole, you know, business dilemma here?
Yes, it does cost us more. We're only charging our drivers 15% commission, which is almost half the amount of Uber that they charge their drivers. That will cost us in our profit and bottom line, and also has cost us in raising investment. A lot of investors want to squeeze as much money as they can from each fare, but with us obviously being ethical, you know, we have a lot more which come before that.
When you say ethical, I mean, I think you say that you have, for example, panic buttons in your cars, which are for the driver and the customer. How often are they used, would you say?
Well, they're not used yet because we haven't launched yet, but they will be used when the appropriate time is necessary. They're on the app, so if there's a problem, you just hit the panic button.
Uber is massively popular here and in many parts of the world. You know, it's difficult to imagine how London is going to roll that back. And I mean, there are going to be huge job losses as well, aren't there?
No, there won't be, I don't think, because it's only a matter of time before Uber sorts out their situation. One way or another, they will gain their licence. It might be under restriction. But, you know, it's a wake-up call.
You don't think this is going to stick, this ruling?
No, not at all. I mean, Uber are Goliath, and they'll work their way through it. What it's done, it's brought the industry to the forefront, and people like ourselves and what we're doing, and doing business in an ethical way, in a right way, to the public. And that's what they need, an alternative choice, so they don't have to use Uber.
OK, very interesting to talk to you, George Lee. Thanks very much for coming in.
You're welcome.
Thanks.